Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Another day's journey. So glad about it and so grateful for you joining me with another Real Talk with Pastor Waller. And I need you to know how excited I am today. And the reason that I'm excited, every pastor, not just every pastor, I think everyone in one generation hopes to see in the next generation someone that is taking the torch and taking it even to a next level. As a pastor, you hope to see someone that has been under your leadership, teaching, preaching, grab a hold to it and do it in clothes that fit them. Well, that's exactly who I want to introduce you to today. I'm very, very excited to introduce you to a young man that has been at Enon for a long time. I'm talking about 25 years. And so I'm talking about someone that I watched grow up, that I watched develop, that I watched take his gift, use it to get his education. And then he took all of it and brought it back to the community to be a blessing to others. That is none other than Kirk and the Kirk Foundation. Now, let me just tell you, I'm excited about people who give back. And, people always talk about the numbers of people who have come through our program and they go and play pro ball and so forth. But real talk, this is a young man who used his athletic and academic ability to go to school, to go and get his master's degree. No, he didn't go on to play pro ball, but I would argue that he has taken that and brought more back to the community and has become a professional at helping save young men's lives. And I don't think that I'm over-exaggerating that. This is Kirk and the Kirk Foundation. Kirk, how you doing, man?
Doing very well. Thank you so much, Pastor. It is an honor to be on Real Talk and just sit and have a conversation with you about the KB Foundation.
Amen. Thank you so much. Now, one thing, this is a young man that helped me understand when it was time to begin to think about hanging up my wrestling shoes. Now, I didn't hang them up, but he almost made me. Because, Kirk went to school and then he wrestled in high school. And I remember when I was actually taller than him and when he was getting ready to start wrestling. And then I also remember when he learned wrestling pretty good and threw me. And I was like, okay, this is not going to happen. This little 16-year-old who is now taller than me and stronger than me, so he thinks. But so, Kirk, tell us your story, man. How'd you get to be the Kirk who has the Kirk Foundation, and you're taking children to Africa? You are exposing them. You've got a camp. Tell us that story.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. The KB Foundation definitely has an origin story, and that story is my personal story.
Got it.
My mother tells me that when my brother and I were younger, she signed us up for a mentoring program, and we were on the waiting list. Mm. And so anyone who knows about mentoring programs, many of them are one-to-one. And so it means you have to sign your child up and you have to wait for them to be matched up. It's a wonderful model, except for kids are on a waiting list. Mm. That's when I was a teenager. I don't remember being on a waiting list, but that's what my mother tells. So as soon as I graduate from the University of Buffalo, I come back home. What do I do? Because I've been under your tutelage. If you see a problem, help fill that void. So I signed up and became I became a mentor, and I did that for over 10 years.
Wow.
And had a wonderful time doing it. But during that entire time, there were still kids on a waiting list. And so that means even till this day with one-to-one mentoring programs, there's not enough Pastor Wallers or Kirk or all the wonderful men in this church. There's not enough signing up to be mentors. Mm. And so because I have a business degree from State University of New York at Buffalo, SUNY Buffalo, in your business classes, they teach you if you see a void, fill the void. And so that's when I created the KB Foundation, and we are a group-based mentoring organization. Mm-hmm. What that simply means is that when parents sign their children up, they don't have to wait to be matched up in order to participate in our programs. we're able to take those kids in large groups and have the state ratio, whether it's 1 to 10, 1 to 7, depending on the age group.
Yeah.
And we're able to give those kids wonderful, life-changing experiences. And the beauty of it is all focused on academics and life skills. We want these kids to learn hands-on experiences. So the KB Foundation was birthed out of me wanting to solve a problem, something that I experienced personally. Kids all deserve a mentor, but they don't have to be on a waiting list to be matched up.
Wow, thank you for that. Now, you just rushed right on through University of Buffalo. And so, first of all, you went to what high school?
I went to Norristown High.
It was at Norristown High School. Yeah. Your mother was bringing you and your brother, you're coming here to church. You then went from Norristown High where?
I went to University of Buffalo.
And you got there on a
full athletic D1 football scholarship where I played D-tackle and nose guard.
Wow.
In high school, I did football, wrestling, and track.
Wow.
You taught me a lot about wrestling. Back at the church picnic days where we would scramble a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I excelled in football.
Yeah.
And I went on to play 5 years at the University of Buffalo.
Wow.
I was captain in 2005, my senior year. And then when I was done playing football, I then moved to Ireland. Mm-hmm. On my first day there, I sent you an email telling you that I'm ready to come home. But I lived in Ireland for 5 months, and I worked abroad there. And then I came back to Philadelphia after that. And so I use my athletic ability, and I encourage parents and families to have your kids do the same. Use their athletic ability as a tool to pay for school. If they can go pro, wonderful. But if you can use your kid's height, speed, size, even if it's academics, do whatever you can for your kid to be able to get some type of scholarship, partial or full ride. But use it as a tool to pay for school, not as a tool that they put all their eggs in one basket to achieve in life.
Thank you for that.
Pay for school.
Yeah, thank you for that. And that's one of the things that we really admire about watching you grow, your commitment to Christ, your commitment to your own development. And I remember stories that you used to talk about when you were playing football at University of Buffalo, wanting to quit,
Absolutely.
Wanting to stop, but you didn't quit. You didn't stop because you had a larger vision for your life. So, man, it's so amazing to watch you now give back. So tell me what the KB Foundation does specifically.
Absolutely. So the KB Foundation was started in 2016.
Okay.
I hated the statistic or hearing the statistic that the average kid who grows up in a low-income community, not just a home, but a low-income community, they don't go 2 miles outside of their radius, north, south, east, or west. Typically, people say 4 blocks, but sometimes kids' schools or the grocery store, if they live in a food desert, is further than, 4 blocks.
Yeah.
And so I wanted kids to be able to go to overnight camp. Day camps are wonderful. They're amazing. They're much needed. But every kid should have the opportunity to be able to go to overnight camp. And so in 2016, 10 years ago, we had an opportunity where we took 9 families, 9 kids to overnight camp for 4 days, Thursday to Sunday. And this camp is a life skills camp. And so they learn everything from how to cook healthy food, to do archery, team building activities. We have yoga now so that they learn how to calm themselves and breathing. But over these 4 days, these kids learn 18 different life skills from Thursday to Sunday. And so that's how we started. And so now 2026 will be our 9th year as an organization. Now we do programming all year round.
Okay.
So, and because of my daughter, Chelsea, shout out to Chelsea, who grew up during the boys' camp, from 3 years old till now, she said, Daddy, girls need to learn the same thing boys do.
Wow.
Right. And she was right. But as a young man, I shouldn't be leading young ladies through life skills. So I said to her when she was 5, I said, give me till you're 10, which happened to be 2020. And I'll create a girls' camp. And so during that time, I was just looking for who could help me do this because I can't do it by myself.
Yeah.
And so we are an organization who serves both boys and young ladies, and we teach them through life skills, and we have a whole bunch of support that does it. So not only do we have our boys and girls camps, but we have a program called Lunch and Learn. I really don't like career day at schools Because a career day, they put all the professions in the gym and they have a class come through, like a whole 5th grade class, and it's too loud. It's not the best acoustics. So how can they really hear from this scientist or this police officer if there's so much going on around them?
Wow.
And then some schools have gotten better where they put the professions in the classroom and it's 30 kids in there. Well, we've taken career day and took it to a whole nother level where our lunch and learn program on days off from school, President's Day, Election Day, Martin Luther King Day, any day off from school, the KB Foundation is open and we take kids on a lunch and learn program. So recently we were just at a insurance company called Reliance Matrix, and we took 25 young men to go in the business and do hands-on skills learning about the insurance industry.
That's it.
We took, on Election Day, CBS 3 hosted us, and we took 22 young ladies to CBS 3, and they got to learn what happens not just on TV, but what all the careers are happening within inside of CBS 3.
Yeah.
Pastor, we can't keep asking kids what do they want to be when they grow up and not showing them the endless opportunities.
Got you.
And
that's right.
We've done that for so long. And so we ask a young person, what do they want to be? And if their mother and father or a lawyer and a doctor, we like those answers. But it's still limited. That's 2 careers out of thousands. And that's what that young person is exposed to in their house. But what if you have a young person who's raised by the TV and the radio station?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be surprised that they want to be in the entertainment industry, a basketball player or a musician or rapper. That's what's raising them. Either way, whatever answer they give, it's still limited. So in our Lunch and Learn program through the KB Foundation, we are exposing them to all different industries. And then when these young people who are going on a day off from school, they're actually in a safe haven because they're not at home by themselves. They're not playing video games all day.
Yeah.
They're learning about a career, and then they can expand their vocabulary and say, I want to be an accountant, or I want to be in the IT world. Because all of these companies have these things.
That's right.
So to answer your question, the KB Foundation is just finding unique ways to serve young people in this world where there's so many options. Overnight camp, lunch and learn program, all of our different programs aren't competing with the sports and those additional things that kids do because we found a way to do it on days where families need that support.
Well, thank you for that. And that's so real was what I have found over the years. Youth ministry, a relevant youth ministry is going to be 2 things, exposure and trauma management. Trauma management, helping young people negotiate what it means to grow up in this context. You're growing up in the African-American community, even if it is a privileged part of it, that comes with its own trauma.
Yes.
You know, maybe you're in Abington or you're on the main line and you are African-American, you're Black. There's a level of trauma that comes with that. It may be different than Raymond Rose projects,
yes,
but it's trauma all the same. And I like how you pointed out, if all you know is what you know, then that's all you know. And so we've got to give people opportunity and exposure. So we appreciate you on so many levels. So talk to me about how you make this happen. I mean, you do have you have a job, right?
Yes.
And you have a family to raise.
Yes.
So where does the money come from for you to do all this work with the KB Foundation?
It's a wonderful question. My mother taught me in 2016, if you want to stop paying for this out of pocket, you better become a 501c3.
Okay.
So in 2017, we established a 501c3, and we started largely with people donating, right?
Yeah.
Like people donating. Over the years, we've gotten really good with grant writing, whether it's local city grants or state grants. Sometimes it could be through other foundations that give funding for specific programming. So that's a way for us to do it. And then also we try our best to get federal funds as well. With federal funding and grants, you have to be able to show that you're fiscally responsible with some money in order to go ask for large sums of money. Mm-hmm. And so we've been focusing every year just increasing the revenue stream that we have coming in. But largely it's done through donors. And so we have some people that are monthly donors and give monthly. And then we have some who give, big amounts of funds annually. It's funny that you asked that question because everything but our mentoring camps are free to the kids. So when you talk about parents signing up for our programming, they go online and they go to our website and they sign up for a lunch and learn and their kid free to go. And then if they want their kid to be a part of another program that we have, the My Buddy reading program, where we're reading with kids on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, it's no cost to the parents. And so it is a great question of how do we do all of this? And it's through a lot of fundraising and donations.
Got you.
We don't want kids not to have because their parents may or may not have it. But we also don't say that we only serve kids that don't have. So even families who do have is free. So there's no sliding scale.
Got you.
Everything that we offer, because we believe every young man and every young lady deserves to have a mentor.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. And so you're doing the work. Now, you all are going to hear about this again. Obviously, this is December. You know what happens during the spring of the year when we gather for Resurrection Sunday morning. We identify, and I'm just going to name this right now. We're going to identify. I usually try to identify 2, if not 3, definitely 2 organizations. This is one of those organizations that when you come to Enon on Resurrection Sunday morning, or for those that don't know what I mean by that, Easter Sunday morning, when we take up our offering, we give out of that offering to others. And that is a long tradition that we've had. And what that simply means is we cover our costs for the day, and then everything else in the offering is given away. And that goes back to the days of being at the Leah Chorus Center. Some of you who are watching right now may remember that we used to go to the Leah Chorus Center. And for a couple of years, we partnered with the Sharon Baptist Church. And and this is how it really started, in order for us to not quibble over dollars, we said, listen, instead of trying to figure out what goes to Sharon and what goes to Enon, let's cover the cost of this rental and then give everything else away. And that's where that began. When we were done with partnering with Sharon after those 2 years, we went on and continued that tradition. And so when you come to Enon on Resurrection Sunday, one of the ways that you'll be supporting this young man is by simply showing up and giving an offering. And while I'm on that, everybody talks about the Leah Chorus Center, but do you remember before the Spectrum was knocked down, we actually went to the Spectrum one year. One year, the Leah Chorus Center had a programming and they couldn't host us, and we actually went to the Spectrum. I am so grateful. I know I just turned this whole thing into something else, but we went to the Spectrum and filled the Spectrum for Resurrection Sunday morning. Wow. But this was probably 15 years ago. So I'm grateful for that legacy. And in that, we're going to continue to support you. But what I didn't ask you, because we've been rushing past all this, you are grown, you are married, you have children. Can you help us understand that journey? What's your family?
Absolutely. So I met my wife at the University of Buffalo.
Wow.
We just celebrated 6 years of marriage. We broke off after finishing college, but we found ourselves back together. I'm blessed because of it tremendously.
Amen. Yeah.
So yes, my wife, Nikki, and then I have an older daughter, Chelsea, who's 13 years old. Mm-hmm. And then I have a 4-year-old and a 15-month-old.
Wow.
So yes. And so
blessed is the man that hath his quiver full.
Yes. So my son is 4. His name is Hudson. And then my youngest daughter, her name is Alyn.
Alyn.
Yep. So
excellent. So in doing this work and working with young people, young men, what is the real need? What is the need that you're finding with this generation of working with these young men? Is there anything consistent that we need to be hearing as a people in addressing this? Are there any common themes that you find in working with young people?
Absolutely. So I'll answer that question this way. Before starting the KB Foundation, I traveled the country speaking.
Yep.
And motivating young people. You helped write the foreword to my book, 5 Powerful Tips for Motivating Youth. And so as I was traveling, not having a principal license, people would always ask me, how do you know these things with young people work? And so I started the foundation with going like, hey, I'll help kids in my own community be motivated, and then I can transition and show people, look at the work. So to answer your question, what's the common theme?
Mm-hmm.
I get tired of hearing adults say that today's young people aren't motivated. They're not motivated about what you want them to do. They're motivated by the things that they find interesting. You wrestled and played football and did music. What if someone kept saying, oh, you need to get into the trades, which one can do, but if that's not your thing, you're going to say, I'm not motivated because I don't want to learn to be an electrician. But also that's because that's where that adult is reading or seeing the things that they believe are the future. So I've noticed young people have many interests. And in the middle school age and younger, they want to learn everything as opposed to being told to do one thing. So if I had a message for adults, if you find that kids aren't interested in something you think is important, ask them what's important to them. And then if you can't show them, get someone else to show them.
That can show them.
That's the benefit to our Lunch and Learn program. I don't know anything about CBS 3 or the television industry. But if we have kids and young ladies and young men in our program who are like, I want to be on TV one day, let's ask CBS 3 to open up their doors.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about real estate. But when Ben Zwanger hosted us, 30 young men, and we're at the top of the old Bell Atlantic building, and they're showing them the specs of a home, and they had one group be buyers and one be sellers, and they made them debate and see who won. Where else do you get that kind of experience, and how else do you know that you even want to get into real estate? So my message is try to show young people as much as you can or introduce them to.
That's right.
Absolutely. That's our motto. Exposure is life. The more you're exposed to, the more opportunities you have. And so my theme and message would be to adults, show kids they're sponges and they want to learn as much as they can. And the beauty of what we've built with the KB Foundation is one-to-one, kids act like they don't want to learn. But if you see 30 other young men put on an apron and start cutting up some cheese or cooking, because we've taken them to go be around chefs.
Yeah.
And then they learn that chefs are a male-dominated field. Because you, in your house, you think it's a woman-dominated field because mom and grandma made all Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. But young men learning together, they're now persuaded to go, oh, what I thought was corny or whack is actually cool.
Right.
So this group-based mentoring and me pushing the message, if you're afraid that a young person won't be interested, take a group of their friends to learn it together. Because now one of the leaders who usually says things are corny or whack goes like, oh, this is fun. I want to learn it more. That'll persuade the other ones. And so that's what we've been able to build. These young people now have a community at the KB Foundation. And while they do have a mentor who's leading or they're visiting somewhere, they remember all the experiences because they're doing it with their peers.
Gotcha.
And so let's teach young people together.
Yeah.
And let's teach them more than what we know. Let's introduce them to other people.
Thank you for that. Now, Kirk, I've watched you do this work and you've been at it for a while. Help somebody who's trying to do whatever they're trying to do. What have been the obstacles and how have you overcome that? You're still doing it, but we know anything worth doing always is going to have an obstacle. What are some of the obstacles to this work and how have you pushed through?
Absolutely. So the first obstacle is a realistic expectation. My first camp in 2016, I wanted to host 50 young men and only had 9.
Okay.
I would have drowned with 50 young men.
Got you.
Right? Like so if you're someone who wants to do this work, like set your expectation. If it's starting with 3 kids, that's amazing. Because that's going to be real impact because those 3 kids are going to remember it. And you're probably doing it by yourself. So the 30 kids you think you want, you can't control.
Right.
So that would be my first thing. Set realistic expectations. And even if you miss that mark, know that it's okay. And it's a good starting point. The other hurdle is that it's going to take a long time to build a support system, a team. Stay with the work that you're doing until that right team comes along. And so what I mean by that, for the boys mentoring camp, with those 9 young men the first year, we had 3 of us who did it. We cooked, we cleaned, we did all the activities. I'm 10 years later now, and To host 60 young men at camp, we need about 30 of us to do it. Cooking and right. So keep it going until it builds something that others can come along. That is something that's really hard for people to like. It's not growing, or it's not growing as fast as you want. That's the whole setting the expectations.
Yeah.
Be okay in the stages of learning and it growing slowly, because if it grows too fast, you won't be able to handle it. You will miss a mark, right? And so I always encourage, set people real expectations and do it long enough until you can build a team who comes alongside and helps you grow it the right way and not just grow it because you want something that's grandiose.
Okay. Thank you for that. Is there anything, I'm so enjoying this and so proud of the work that you have done. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think the listening audience needs to hear or know about the KB Foundation or about this work?
Yes. So one, I want to say thank you so much for your commitment for next Resurrection Sunday. Mm-hmm. That's a blessing. And so to answer your question, I want to steal from you the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. Mm-hmm. I've added to that and say, in order for an organization to be well-rounded, they need people who give their time, their talent, and their treasure. Mm-hmm. And so if I could share something with the audience, we are always looking for cleared volunteers to give their time, specifically in creating a workshop that is hands-on and teaching these young people about your careers. Wow. So that could be through your attending a camp or hosting a weekend opportunity. But then also there's people's talents. That's where the lunch and learn comes in. Invite the KB Foundation, host the boys or the young ladies for an opportunity to be able to learn about the many careers behind your building or within your building. And then treasure, Pastor, I've put a spin on it. It's great when people give money, but if the kids don't have individuals to learn from, then I just sit as an organization with resources, but nowhere to expose the kids. Exposure is life. So for us, treasure is network. Who in your network can give their time or their talent? Because once we visit your company a few times, our kids are like, what else can I learn? So the treasure is your network. Who in your world or hemisphere could expose our young people? We even flew 28 young men to Electronic Arts earlier this year. For those who don't know, that's EA Sports. Yeah. And the young men who love to play video games got to learn about the gaming industry. So we're not limited to just PA, Jersey, or Delaware. We'll go anywhere your network will allow us.
That's it. Thank you so much. I am so grateful for your coming and being a part of this. Thank you all for giving me another half hour with you with Real Talk with Pastor Waller. I'm going to ask that you would continue to keep Kirk in your prayers. If you have something that you can bless him with, your time, your talent, your treasure, and your network, please look forward to touching base with him. You can find him at church. Amen. All you got to do is show up and he's around. I am proud of you, man. And I bless God to have been a part of your journey and you a part of mine. Yes, in very real way. I grew up as a pastor as you were growing up as a man. And so I bless God for this journey and love you deeply.
Thank you. Love you as well.
Let's get ready to go to God in prayer. I'll see y'all in the morning. Come on. God, I bless you and I thank you. I thank you for these stories that remind us you are still working it out. You are still moving. You are still blessing. You are still making ways, as Grandma says, out of no ways. We thank you for the KB Foundation and for what it means to children. We thank you for the way in which you use Kirk to be a blessing to the next generation. I pray, oh God, that you cover him, his wife, his children, his network. And I pray that you help us look for other ways to partner to serve this present age. Now, God, as we go throughout the rest of this time, we've asked that you would bless this season that we are in and bless, Lord, all the work that you have given us to do. Now, go with us, stand by us until we meet again. It is through Christ, and for his sake we do pray. Let us all say, amen. Amen. Listen, I love you much. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer.